Hi guys, today is all about my next mod and it's going to be applying coat protection film. Okay, so you come to me this evening halfway through, or should I say past the first stage and first attempt at applying myself a Venture Shield paint protection and body protection kit. I was going to start the video before I started this, but I wanted to get a piece under my belt. I was a little bit cautious and a bit wary about doing this myself. I've bought this pack from a place up in the northwest, up in Greater Manchester. It cost me £100, but it would have cost me double that to get it fitted. And what with COVID, I thought, well, can't be that difficult. And the guy I spoke to at the place said, if you take your time and follow the instructions, it'll go on fine. So far I'm finding it okay. So what does the kit come with? The kit comes with a roll, a fully computer laser cut roll of every single piece of vinyl for every piece of panel, light, screen, even the frame on this KTM Superduke GT. Comes with a squeegee, comes with a pump spray bottle that you put liquid soap solution in, and it's as simple as take your time cleaning the bike thoroughly, part by part. I'm not doing the whole clean, I'm just doing piece by piece. It's pretty clean anyway. I use some of this alcohol spray just to take any grease off, and literally you use plenty of soap and water, spray both sides of it, and provided you make sure you get the glue part down, which isn't as easy as it sounds, because the thing is very, very thin, very tough though. There's very little, it doesn't feel fragile, the product, and it's got plenty of give in it and stretch to let you get around the panel profiles and shapes and contours. So I've literally just taken my time, and it's literally like you squeegee the soapy water out, and what you're left with hopefully is a drying adhesive backed membrane to protect against stone chips. I just wish I'd done it a little bit earlier, because I've already got a stone chip here from the first couple of rides out I had, but so far so good. I'll show you the roll of film shortly, but yeah, just to let you know that I'm not finding it's difficult at all, and whilst there are a few smudges on it here and there, I'm assuming that'll just all come out. There is give, you can actually remove this film within 5-10 minutes and reapply soapy water, so if you do get it wrong, you've got 1 or 2 chances just to rectify it and reposition it and get those bubbles out. But so far so good. I have used the simpler smaller pieces. When I get to do the fairings it might be a bit more tricky, but so far so good. Okay, so here's the film. This actually came on a big tube, and yeah, it's literally a film. You mostly won't be able to see it from the picture, but this has every single piece cut out. Again, you won't be able to see it most probably, but this is a diagram of all the different pieces. So I've literally just put now the 2 headlights on, and I've just fitted the right cornering light piece. I'm going to be putting on now the left cornering piece, so it's literally just a case of finding it on the side, peeling it off carefully and taking it to the bike. So what I'm doing now is I'm literally just spraying with the solution onto the cornering light. I'm literally putting the solution on it, and it says you can't put too much solution in, so don't be shy with it. And it's literally a case of trying to position it pretty much where you want it. On the light it says you should leave a 5mm gap between the edge of the film and the lens of the light, and that's to allow for the heating effect of the lamps, and the heat at some point needs to escape through the lens, so I can only assume it's for heat evaporation, or make sure they don't overheat. And all I'm doing now, I'm gently, with a wet sponge that it's provided, or a wet squeegee, just teasing out the first sort of main body of water, just so that, because it's still moving now, you mostly can't see that, but that's just moving a couple of millimeters either way. So you've got quite a bit of movement once it goes on. It doesn't grab, and once it grabs, that's it. So you've got a good 5 minutes or so on each piece. Now again, I've just done the really simple parts of the bike just so I can get used to the process. So I've done the 2 headlights, and I'm now doing these cornering lights. But as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. So you go into the water in the middle first, and then what you do, you start to just move any water or air bubbles from the middle to the outside of the film. And as you do it, you'll actually see what I can see now, which are some bubbles from the soap suds just underneath. So you've got a pretty good clue as to where the water is and where the little air pockets are, but that's pretty much done now. So all I'm going to do now is just give it a little wipe so I can get rid of any water on the surface, and I can see what I'm dealing with. So maybe I could do with better light here, but I'm just with a cramped part of the garage. But when I come to do the larger pieces, I'll put the big overhead lamps on. So yeah, so that's looking good. It seems to be a good couple of millimeters, 2 or 3 millimeters all the way around the edge. I think that's good to go. As I said, it's not that difficult. It's one of these jobs where you sort of feel intimidated before you start, but once you start, it goes on really, really nicely. So all you do now is, if you're happy with it, which I am, it's just a case of leaving that now and letting that dry. There we go. I won't video me putting every part on, but you get the gist. I'll mostly come back and just show you some of the finished results. But if you're thinking about doing this on a new bike, if you're not having it done when you pick up a new bike, do it pretty much straight away. I thought, oh, I can wait a few weeks. Went and did my 550 mile service. Had a big ride up to Wales with some of the lads, and had 2 little stone chips, one on the headlight and one on the fairing. They're not big, but I was disappointed myself that I didn't do this as soon as I bought the bike. Now I know how easy it is. I would have done it in the first couple of days. So word of warning, word of caution, word of advice: if you've got a new bike and you want to do this, don't feel that it's difficult and you need to be a professional to do it. I'm definitely not, but please do it before you go out on your first few rides. You'd hate to get a few stone chips and then realise that you need to put this coating protection on. So here I'm doing what is, I think, one of the more awkward pieces. So this is the apron, or whatever they call. Basically it's the right hand fairing. So whilst this went on quite well, and obviously there's gaps for the screws and the KTM badge, where it's proving a little difficult is that there's a slight, where the corners start to fold away, you can't have an overlap because you're just going to catch it when you wash it, and over time the grit's going to get in. So it really is about playing with millimeters, trying to stretch the product as much as possible so you take all the kinks out, but not stretching it so much that you actually go over the edges. So that it really is millimeter precision. I'm not panicking, you know, this will work, but, and there's a degree of slippage in it, but I don't know if you can see here, there's like a little air bubble, or there's like a little bit too much plastic with it. Obviously that's not lifting, but in a couple of minutes the water will evaporate, and the stickiness of the adhesive, which remains afterwards, will actually just tack down to that. So I'm not too worried about that, but it's a case of literally keeping them moving as it's drying, because it is drying over a period of time. Make sure that the edges are down and that the actual air bubbles are out, and that the water bubbles are out, and it literally is being at hand whilst it's drying. So here it's not an air bubble, it's just a bit of an excess of plastic. So as you push down, it lifts in another. But that will, as it dries out, making sure the water's out of it, start to firm up, and the actual adhesive underneath will get really, really tacky, for want of a better word, and you'll get adhesion. So yeah, just take your time, keep addressing it, don't let it get too wet on the surface, and you'll be fine. So anyway, I'm going to continue around the bike. The part I'm not looking forward to is the tank here. I think it's going to be rather difficult, but I've got pieces to put on here on the frame, on the sides here. Mudguard's done, lamps are done. There's one even for the TFT, although I don't think I'm going to use that one. So I did 5 pieces last night, and I'm just doing a few pieces at a time, not rushing it. The last thing you want to do with this type of work is rush it. But anyway, I'll come back to it when we're finished, and we'll have a think about how it's all gone. Cheers, guys. Okay, so I'm all done now. So how's it gone? Well, seeing that you can't really see it, I think it's flipping good.
Got enough of every melody, they all sound the same. Yeah, for my broken heart, no remedy, but maybe if you stay, we can get away with it. 'Cause you make me love my imperfections, answer all my questions, just to show me what's in the other.